How do I start a relationship with my nieces and nephew when their father was responsible for my brother's passing? One of my coworkers suggested that this could be a good location to obtain some help for my present situation. I, 46 male, am one of 4 children. My elder brother P, 48 male, I believe, with whom I no longer communicate, my younger brother J, who is no longer with us, and my youngest sister K, 44 female. P's children, 2 girls and 1 boy, both in their late teens and early 20s, recently came out to me and indicated a desire for a connection. I have had no contact with their father and vowed that if I ever saw him again, I would beat him black and blue. A little history. My eldest brother P was always the brightest of the bunch. Whatever he did, my parents always had an explanation for why it wasn't his fault. Is your grade poor? The teacher had it in for him. Is he cheating? On all of his relationships. Thank goodness you did it to her before she did it to you. That one was my personal favorite. He also used to harass Jay and me frequently when we were smaller than him, until I got a growth spurt in high school and rose up to around 6'4" and 230 pounds of muscle. After that, I morphed into the stereotypical, played football, partied with a group of buddies, and so forth. My younger brother, Jay, didn't fare as well and remained short and bony throughout high school and college, only reaching a height of approximately 5'8" and not having a very active social life. Despite the differences in our educational experiences, I was always quite protective of Jay, particularly because we had to put up with peace nonsense all the time, which ended when he discovered I could pound him into the ground without breaking a sweat, despite the fact that he was a lot smaller than me at just 5'10". There isn't much to say about Kay. She was a wonderful younger sister, and P knew that if he messed with her, he would face our mother's wrath. So, in the late 1990s, Jay met his first true girlfriend, A, and was ecstatic about her. He spent every free time with her, and when he wasn't, he couldn't stop gushing over her. I'd never seen him that joyful before. So one day he comes to us, all joyful, and reveals that A is pregnant and that they are expecting a child. However, the atmosphere abruptly changed when it was revealed a week later that A had been cheating on Jay for the entirety of their relationship with our elder brother P. This shattered my brother, and P, being the golden he is, didn't even receive a disappointed look from our parents. To this day, I've never seen somebody look as shattered as Jay did the last time I saw him. My parents simply advised him to get over it and be happy for our brother, which I feel just added to his grief. Jay committed himself roughly a week after this discovery became public. In my whole life, I had never felt so sad and enraged at the same moment. I was sad that I would never see my brother again, and I was enraged that it was my brother's and my parents' responsibility. P stepped in with it during the funeral, and I saw crimson. I was fortunate to have other family members around to prevent me from doing anything crazy, but I informed P that if I ever saw him again, I would murder him. I broke touch with 90% of my family soon after, with the exception of K and a cousin I had always been close with, since everyone else wanted to make excuses for my parents and P. Moving on, I never had children, and to be honest, I never wanted any. I definitely love playing the character of the amusing uncle. K married a wonderful man and had 2 beautiful girls, whom I love. P had 2 more children with A before cheating on her, surprise, and divorcing her, and I'd never met any of them. My parents attempted to contact me a few times, but I always told them to kick rocks. So last week, I was talking with K's kids, 19 and 17, and they said that their cousins had been wanting to meet me for a long time and were hoping I would be willing to meet them as well. I don't think they know all that happened between their father and me, but I'd be lying if I claimed I never wanted to meet them. So everyone, I'm trying to get ideas/suggestions from you on how I can start/maintain a connection with Peace Kids while still keeping him and A out of my life. Any and all recommendations are appreciated. Edit. A commenter just made an excellent argument that affects the nature of my inquiry. I plan to meet with them soon since they are all returning to town from college at the same time due to COVID, but someone suggested that maybe seeing them one at a time after they return to their respective campuses/old living arrangements is a better choice. Thoughts? Edit 2. I've had many people ask me why K continues to communicate with individuals I've broken contact with, so I'll simply copy/paste one of my responses here. Despite the fact that my sister was as devastated by Jay's death as I was and was enraged for a long time, after graduating from college, she and her then boyfriend, future husband, ran into financial difficulties and were forced to move in with our parents. They couldn't stay with me because of unrelated turmoil at the time. So my sister lived with them for many years, and their relationship strengthened with time. And although I wasn't delighted at the time, I understood. She still doesn't have a meaningful connection with P, but she's friendly when they meet. I don't blame her. Our parents did a lot for her, and girls like their cousins, so I didn't want to put her in the situation of having to choose. Story 2. My first love 30 male is successful and getting married, and I'm 30 female. Well, very single and not. Any advice on how to cope or success stories of love after 30? Between the ages of 18 and 23, my ex and I dated on and off for roughly 5 years. We had known one another since high school and had dated in both high school and college. He was my first love, best buddy, and so forth. He was very intelligent and hilarious, but he could also be too sensitive, a bit of a weirdo, and sometimes harsh, despite the fact that he was ultimately a really kind person. We were young when we dated, but he immediately told me he wanted to marry me and spend the rest of our lives with me. I was young and pessimistic. In addition, our connection was tumultuous and intermittent. I left our relationship when he was verbally abusive to me, concerned about how he would be around children one day if he was talking to me like way. My ex has matured and gotten his life in order since then. He is a huge success at work and earns a ridiculous amount of money. He ended up getting after I severed things with his female closest friend, whom I never trusted and who was a source of tension in our relationship, but he constantly assured me not to worry about. He and this girlfriend had a short breakup 4 years ago, at which time he attempted to crawl back to me, but I turned him away. He and his ex-girlfriend reconciled, and they are now married and enjoying a beautiful life together. Meanwhile, in the 7 years afterward, I've only had one romance. For 3 years, I was with a really kind guy who I was eventually incompatible with because we desired different things, and who unknowingly put me through an emotional ringer since he didn't know what he wanted from his life. I don't earn much money. $50,000 per year, despite the fact that I went to college and am 30 years old. I'm working extremely hard to get a new job, but I've been looking for one for over a year and haven't had any success. I've had a bad dating experience and have been single for 2 years. I believe a part of me wishes I'd taken my ex back when he returned to me. He seemed to have grown and worked his out, but I was still haunted by how I'd been injured in the past. And now that I'm 30, everyone around me is married, and I'm incredibly alone, broke, heartbroken, and ashamed by how my life is turning out. I've been told I'm a sweet, beautiful, and intelligent young lady. I have good pals, and I'm using dating apps and going out there to meet people and network for a job. It simply seems like I'm not having any success, personally, financially, or professionally, and I'm afraid I've messed everything up for good. I'd appreciate any advice or success stories on finding love and career success after 30, as well as tips on how to deal with my present emotions.